Hi and welcome back. I'm down in the woodshed. I've got a bucket load of shaping and sanding to make happen. There's a lot of work there, and I'm in the woodshed. You guys would have seen this loads of times. It's where I spend a majority of my time, but I don't mind it because if you look here, I've got a nice view out over some fields. My back hedge, I've got a load of plants. It is really nice. It's not a bad area to work actually. And out over there I've just got rolling fields, trees, and further down to woodlands. So it's not too bad an area to work, but I do have to be here doing it. So I've got a big old mix of hiking sticks here. This is going to be a Valhalla one. I'm going to create a kind of fantasy battle axe look on that handle, all the way down to the actual tip, which is going to be oversized copper, and it'll have a load of like Viking artwork on it. I've got kind of like an extremely long one here, and I've done quite a few just recently. This is going to be more of like a walking staff type of model, and I've got a load here, as you can see, just pre-scraped of bark. These here are going to have the bark left on. They're going to be barked models, but yet again I've got some heavy gauge ones which will end up being bushwhacker or my ordinary ones, but I'm going to do more folklore designs on them on this batch, I think, quite simply because they just seem so popular. So yeah, I'm going to be here. I'm all set up with a drill. As you can see, a load of them don't have the lanyard holes in yet, and that's primarily my first job here. Well, morning. It's another day and I'm just coming into the workshop. I always like coming into the workshop. It's that first, when you enter it and it's been sealed, you got that smell of wood and lawnmowers and all the tools. Wild camping. If I've had a fire, you can smell a hint of a fire on my army jackets that are hanging up in here. There's just that real kind of like earthy working atmosphere that you can smell, as well as, you know, when you walk in, you just get that nice feel coming into the workshop. It's hard to explain, but yeah, it always gives me that little bit of a smile and, you know, anticipation to crack on during the day. I don't have a school run today, but I do have a dog walk I got to do now. I've just come in to feed the chickens and just get a few bits and bobs ready, and I'll be carrying on the sanding, and that's going to be pretty much a large part of today. Unfortunately, if you've got a volume of sticks to do, and I do them in batches, I could quite easily spend one day just doing completely nothing but sanding. But we'll go down to the woodshed and have a look in a moment. But I'm going to do this dog walk. Foxgloves are out and they're looking really vibrant this year. I've got a feeling that's down to the wet weather we've had. They've had more than enough water to make them really vibrant and the colours really stand out. They are a poisonous plant though, so they look nice and beautiful, but you don't want to touch or mess about with them because yeah, they're poisonous. This one's really popping out the colour. The whole hedgerow, as I walk up, is a sea of colour of flowers. There you go. Totally gorgeous. Right, I've just stopped by this field. You might just be able to make out over there, just above that little clump of trees there, that would be Brentor Church, sitting on top of that little pimple of a hill over there. And I took you there a couple videos back. But this meadow here, it's worth noting that the Duchy actually come up and do a biodiversity check on their meadows and things. And they've told the farmer, the lieutenant farmer, that these are among the best fields that they own on their estates for biodiversity and basically everything to do with, well, nature. Oh, Bracken's pulling me over. Yeah, so he's pretty much instructed to carry on farming as he is and not adopt any of the newer ways farmers do their, well, agricultural practices, which is good to hear. I don't know how much longer he's going to stay still. He'll want to shoot off in a minute. But I just want to say, we went to the Bushcraft show last weekend, and it was a 5-hour drive there and back with traffic, and it was quite a warm day, and with 2 small kids it was emotional to say the least. We knew that, we knew what we were facing, but you just do it because you want to do it, and you know, life is the way life is. But in any case, it was a fantastic event. It's well run. Obviously it was a nice hot sunny day, so that obviously helped, and we were only there for really just a few hours because obviously we had to drive all the way back down here. 99% of people say it was a waste of time doing what we did, and I must admit, you could spend a small fortune up there on, well, bushcraft items, clothing and anything related to it. You know, and I saw loads of people walking around with bags full of stuff, so I'm taking the traders did very well up there. Me being me, my sole purchase at the Bushcraft show what's that, £3.95, a metal spork. And I only got this because my plastic ones I left on well, near the fire, and it melted, and I'd had that well, 2 of them for 10 years. But yeah, they finally given up the ghost, and that was my sole purchase, driving all that way for a £3.95 spork. But I've seen it, and you've definitely got to camp there if you go there. Will I go back? Possibly, but I'll possibly do it as a solo adventure. It's probably just too much of an emotional drive there and back, and you know, it's too far from my wife with her hips to sit static in her car. You know, the whole thing is just too far really, and you don't have time there to recover before you got to come back again. At least when we go Portugal, you know, it's broken up with the ferry journey, and the wife then has the opportunity once we get there to sort of like you know, take care of her hips and get ourselves acclimatized, and have, you know, a couple weeks or more to sort of like you know, let her hip and that rest. She's not sat static in a car seat. So yeah, I will probably go next year, but I'm surprised how commercialised that event is. But that's probably the modern way. I have heard people talk and say in years gone by it's been smaller, more personal, and more in touch with the philosophy of bushcrafting, if I can say. But you know, all these things move forward, and you know, the things are where they are. I would say if you're going to the Bushcraft show, and I'm a complete novice at it, you're going to see what is available, and it's pretty much why I went. What is available there, what tools, what instructional you know, things are available. You know, it's everything on the buying commercial side of it, rather than going into the bushcrafting side of it itself. So yeah, just bear that in mind if you're heading up to it. But yeah, it's something I'll do solo, I think, next year. Yo, Rook is back. I left all my tools down here. It did rain actually, but there was no wind with it, so it's not in any danger of coming in here. So yeah, it's for me to set myself up again and start sanding. Unfortunately, to set yourself up, if you're bringing the tools from scratch all the way down from up the main workshop, walking backwards and forwards, you can lose 20 minutes, half an hour. So it's all down here. Just gonna take the extension cable all the way back up to my workshop, and then get the first batch of sticks and start sanding again. And yeah, I'm going to be here for a long time, just doing the same thing, sanding, and then repeating again with the next stick and the next stick and the next stick. So yeah, I'm going to get this sorted. Right, all the mechanical sanding and the rough sanding and shaping is done. For me now, it's the long haul of hand sanding and finishing sanding. And this is the bit which is quite brutal on your arms, and particularly when you've got about 13 sticks to do. Yeah, it's very taxing. So I'll be spending most of my day down here just sanding, doing this. I've got the 3 big ones I'm going to start off on. I'll let you have a look. Nothing really technical here, it's just varying grades of sandpaper and sponges that basically allow me to polish the wood. My dust mask, that's essential, but the 3 big ones, the Bushwhacker, which is going to be this one, and I've got the 2 Valhallas, which are kind of like battle axe type handles, which I've got a complete shaping and sanding, and they'll be like Viking inspired with like Viking type artwork. But yeah, these 3 are, well, represent my biggest gauged model sticks that I do, or heaviest gauge. So yeah, I'm going to start off with these. So what's been the purpose of me basically showing you me shaping and sanding these hiking sticks? Well, quite simply, it's to convey the amount of work that goes into it, firstly, and secondly, to anybody that's bought a hiking stick from me, or potentially in the future, or just anybody viewing what I'm doing here, you can see that there is a degree of craftsmanship, and even if you don't want to allocate that word, there's time involved on my part. And like I said to some other people that were discussing hiking sticks with me, you know, if nothing else, and even if you don't want to allocate any kind of craftsmanship aspect to this, if you think that you can just pick a stick up off a hedge and end up with the same product that I'm presenting to a customer or the public, you know, and that's how you feel about it, I do have time invested in these items, and you know, that is pretty much at the end of the day what somebody is paying for. It's the time I invest. I mean, this handle here, you know, by the time I finished this is the rough shaped out handle. By the time I've actually sanded it and put the finishing to it, you know, there's a lot of hand sanding that's gone into that, and yeah, it's time invested, and ultimately that's what you are, whether you're a craftsman or you're just sanding something you've just picked up off the beach or hedge, and you're paying for my time to do this, and hopefully my time then replicates a product which is possibly superior, or at least personal to me, which a customer is willing to buy for, you know, that look that I put into this stick. So yeah, you know, I'm just hoping to convey that there is a process, and you know, it's actually the process is what you're paying for. The next video after this will be me doing wood burning and the finishing up. You see me put copper tips on a stick, but like I said, I just want to bring you along in varying aspects. You've seen me harvest, you've seen me straighten, and you can, and if you watch my videos, you can piece it all together like a timeline, and you can see what you're technically paying for at the end of the day. I do it in batches, but if I was doing that as a single stick, there's a lot of time involved. In fact, I wouldn't even be making a minimum wage out of doing this. I have to do it in batches to extract, you know, a small amount of income from it. But it's not about money. I'm down here and I will be thinking about things and trying to, you know, contemplate life while I'm doing these sticks. So I've got to make every effort now to get through some of these today. Well, I want to get them all done today. Never forget your mask. Right, let's get to it. And straight away, I'm going in with some aggressive sanding. Right then guys, it's about 3 in the afternoon and I've just finished all the stripped modelled sticks, and I'm moving. I've got 4 here of the barked versions I do, my natural sticks as I call them. Now, sanding bark, or you know, the ones with patches of bark, I got to be extremely careful I don't go too heavy on the bark. It will require me to be a bit more careful what I'm doing, so I can add a fair bit of time just for that. You might think it's a lot easier because I don't have to sand the wood part to get that smooth, because it's obviously, you know, you've got bark, it's going to be naturally lumpy and bumpy. But you've got to be careful that you don't take the profile and the feature of the bark away. Once you start doing that, you might as well not have a barked stick, and you might strip it right back and do a stripped model back to the wood. So you do have to be careful, and I've got one custom order in amongst that, which will require just that little bit more finesse, because obviously it's a custom order. So yeah, 3 in the afternoon. It's been a long old day and I've still got 4 to do, so I'm going to push these out and that'll be it for me today. I'll start making the copper tips tomorrow, and it'll be for me to put the copper tips on, which you've seen quite a few times in videos now, and then I'll be moving into the wood burning, the drawing, and then the finishing of the stick, which to me is kind of the last step, which is what I call the finishing process. So I'm going to crack on with these, and I'll get back to you in a moment. Well then, I've picked up down the woodshed, and I won't even go anywhere near the woodshed, I wouldn't have thought, till Monday now, when a cycle starts all over again. It's taking me 2 days to get these 11 hiking sticks to this point. Quite simply, I have family commitments here and things that I'm needed to do here. I've walked the dog, I've had my dinner times, but I do have 11 hiking sticks ready to go now. They're at the stage I've got to put copper tips, but I'll do that tomorrow morning before I crack on with any of the other things I've got to do here. And then it will be the wood burning and the finishing products of boiled linseed oil. The kind of reason I'm done this video is to let you see that for me to get these 11 hiking sticks, I have to kind of move away from the the pleasure and the philosophy of crafting, and I've actually got to push hard to get this job done so I have a product that I can then sell. I can't just look at it daydreaming and, you know, procrastinating and thinking about how I want to do things like most of us who enjoy crafting do. We can spend more time looking at the job and then imagining and thinking than doing the job. So for me, that luxury sometimes has to sit on the back seat. I just have to have a look, get the vision in my head and get straight on with it. But I've got 11 here, so yeah, I will probably have to do some work over the weekend as well, because we lost a day being Bank Holiday Monday. But I'll let you have a look at them. And yeah, next stage for me, copper tips, wood burning and boiled linseed oil as the finish. Right, you can see the three on the end there. They're the heavy gauge ones, and you can see they've got their fantasy battle axe kind of handle. I've got 4 natural styled ones with bark on, and I sanded and polished those ones with no bark to the point they feel dead baby bum smooth. And the tips down the bottom are actually ready. They're sized perfectly to accept copper. So yeah, there's a lot of work and a lot of time invested here. But like I said, you can't stop and just look at it. You've just actually got to get on and make it happen. Well, that's the end of another day in the Folklore Hike and Stick workshop. And I feel we've accomplished quite a lot over the last few days, and obviously it's not going to stop here, but it's been good having you guys come along with me and seeing what I get up to. All that's left to be said is take care, stay safe, and I hope to catch you guys out on the trail.